Next is from Roy Rodriguez, and the subject is wrestlers on Netflix. Dear Conan, Disco, and Joe, what's up, my favorite podcast? I've been a Patreon member for over 3 years.
What's up?
I've been holding it down. Anyone's been watching the show Wrestlers on Netflix about OVW ran by Al Snow. It's like Hard Knocks for the Indies. Conan, would you let a documentary crew film behind the scenes at AAA? Disco, would you do that for future stars of wrestling? It would be cool to see Disco training a class of wrestlers. And finally, I follow Lisa Analot on Instagram and I see she's been at Sapphires a lot. Disco, have you interacted with her? And if so, please tell me what that. Oh, that's
Wait a
disrespectful.
minute.
Gee whiz.
Sincerely, that's Roy the Mailman. P.S. Larry, you come try your hate speech against America in my small town, Houston. My small town is Houston. So
That's
Roy
funny.
Rodriguez called out. There's two people that called out Larry so far. So he's the new
I
Kevin
like
Gill.
this.
There's a lot.
Right?
Larry, I've seen comments, and there's an email that I sent to Larry that I'm saving for his segment. Was they say he's worse than? Oh, I don't know what that's doing there. Conan, can you
Wait,
still hear it?
I gotta come back
Okay.
back on. Wait.
All right.
Just
All
keep
right.
going. Okay.
Is that cool? Conan, you can hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't see
Okay.
you yet.
Okay. Oh, hang on. Let's. How about now?
No, echo. Okay, let me wait. Can you resend me the link? Is that it?
Is it okay?
Maybe.
Is it okay now?
Hello. Yes.
All right. Oh, it's good now. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen a lot of comments where it's like, this guy, it's either this guy's another KG or this guy's worse than Body. Like Larry's getting super, super heat everywhere on the Patreon, on YouTube,
I
Facebook.
like him getting heat because he's a
Yeah.
little oblivious to it, which makes it even more
I,
fun.
the bro documentaries are like that's fine, but they don't draw the numbers at the if you there's some stuff that's going on behind the scenes, put it on the show. Like I don't care for I don't watch a lot of documentaries and stuff, so I don't know. I don't
Well,
care.
let me just say this. Um, since I have Netflix, they're always sending you, "Hey, we recommend this movie and all this." So I saw the first episode. It wasn't bad. You know, um, they, um, you can tell they all respect Al Snow a lot, like the wrestlers, the fight, and it's kind of funny because you see the same thing I've seen a million times in wrestling. You have an owner, and I've seen this a million times. You have an owner who just bought the company because the guy was losing like $30,000 a month, I think, and they were going to close it down, so they had to make like reductions like that. And you have this owner, and bro, one of the wrestlers, like when they're interviewing, he buries the owner. He says this about him, and then Al Snow buries him. But
Hmm.
then they have another conversation where the owner is actually saying, "We got to let Al Snow think he's running this." He
Hmm.
goes, and we can't. And so he's trying to be political with Al Snow. Al Snow is saying that these guys came in, they don't know about the business, which I've heard a million times, and they're trying to tell him how to change the business. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I'm
I
gonna
only
check
saw
that
one
out.
episode. Yeah.
Um,
And
next
one
one's
of the
from Jimmy.
girls on the show just got they were announcing that she's like one of the main characters, like this trailer trash white girl who had a really bad life, and her mom's a wrestler too. And I guess they're sending her to the talent center for a tryout in
Oh,
WWE.
cool.
And I'm sure it's off of the Netflix thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, next is from Jimmy Gadbury. The subject is Joe's performance review, follow up and thoughts. Disco and Conan, hope all is well. Want to follow up on Joe's mid-year performance review and offer some thoughts from a listener's perspective. I would give him financial and exceeds rating. The show is obviously making some real paper. There wouldn't be so much time put into it in all the episodes. On innovation, a meets rating. He's added some sound effects and does think of some creative ideas for upcoming shows. An engagement and a needs improvement rating. This was close for me. While he often has a positive attitude, his backhanded comments about DI are very vexatious to his fans' moods and has to stop. And vexatious is a tremendous word for someone from Missouri.
It
However,
is.
I'd like to raise some concerns about his possible ethical behavior. Could Joe be could Joe be big rigging the mailbag? The suspension rate is out of control, and I find it hard to believe that so many people would take time to write an email knowing they would get suspended. For example, Joe could be easily inserting something about addicted to the in parentheses, just as a red herring to take away from some of the great conversation a fan wants to talk about. But Joe does not. I also find it interesting that Nick Aldis is suspended for reasons that I support, yet he and his product continue to be on the show. Does Joe have an under the table deal going on with him that you should look into? With the Trump and Biden investigation, I do think the government's capacity to look into this, so maybe just a cursory review from you guys and some listeners. I thought Joe had learned his lesson when you busted him for the disrespectful sound effects during your intros. These new actions could be just as nefarious. Damn, another outstanding word from the show me state. Let me know how I can help, and I need to bring boxes to Joe's cubicle along with security. I will coordinate. That's Jimmy from Gerardo, Missouri. Joe, are you, for people you don't like in the mailbag, are you adding statements like the addicted to the stuff and everything? Are you adding that to the emails?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
That's
If
ridiculous.
anybody has proof of
Also-
this, please present it.
Okay. And also, I got to suspend you, Jimmy, from the mailbag for posting misinformation in your email. Nick Aldis is not suspended. Nick Aldis is on probation. Okay,
is
that's why he
true.
continues to be on the show. So you get suspended for calling him.
Yeah, and not only that, the fact that he's suspended is not going to stop us from making money with them. So, you know.
Right. Yeah. Use
Now-
K100 for 10% off at legacysubs.com.
Right. So this guy brought up like 3 things. What were they? And I would like your thoughts on them, Disco.
The on financial, so he's getting
Right.
a lot of ads. So yeah, he's been doing good. All right.
Very good.
On innovation, yeah, he's improved. From 0 to he went from an F to a C with the sound effects. Okay.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Right.
On engagement, yeah, he does need to improve because he's still he's still milquetoast Mike Pence like, you know. So
Wait a minute.
yeah, so what about you, Conan?
I would agree with all 3 assessments.
All right, next is from
And the other thing is, the guy said that maybe what was it? He also accused of something else, didn't he?
He accused me of making backhanded comments about disco, and I don't recall
Right.
doing things
I like
that.
those.
That's,
I
I
like,
think
I
that's over the
actually
top.
like those. Yeah, but thank you for the guy, whatever his name was,
Jimmy from Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
okay, for providing security if needed, and yeah, thank you very much for that.
Got a new emailer. Next one's from Hillbilly Money, and the subject is TKO. What's up, K100? Hope all you guys are well, and hope the show goes on forever. And of course, all the props in the world for keeping it real. WWE and UFC now both under the same umbrella. Do you think that buying stock in TKO would most likely be a safe bet? WWE is a $9 billion company. UFC is the NFL of combat sports, and both companies' trajectories seem to be going nowhere but up. In the last 2 years, WWE's made more money than ever, and when you're talking about stocks, that's really all that matters. Last time I checked, TKO stock is going for $100 a share. Seems like a safe place to dump some dough and watch them grow into biscuits. I know you guys aren't financial advisors or stockbrokers, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Just try to diversify the hillbilly money, bro. Try to get all the moolah cheddar biscuits. Nah spraying.
Okay, let me just say this right now. We do have a financial advisor here, Joe, because he was in the early stages of the crypto phenomena and other things. Go ahead, Joe.
I look at TKO. It opened at like 100. It's gone. It went up to 106.16 today. It's at 105.50 now. I'm looking at it, but I'm not going to touch it until it goes under 100. You got to wait for the dip. You got to wait for the dip.
Well, yeah. Plus, too, did you see that the stock took a considerable hit one day? When the Saudis invested $100 million into that what they invested into one they invested into one of those MMA groups, right? So here's the boogeyman that could be lingering on the thing is, bro, if the Saudis have ever decide to provide and spend money on competition, the stock price will go down.
It was the PFL, DI.
The PFL, Professional Fight League, yeah. Mm-hmm. If they decided like maybe invest in Tony Khan's group and stuff, who knows? I don't know. I don't like stocks are all. It seems like the only people that consistently make money on stocks are the people that have all the money that seem to be manipulating the stock market.
The insiders. That's who's making all the money on that.
Right. So nobody else.
Yeah,
There's
members
some
of Congress, other rich guys,
right.
big. They keep it within themselves. Why would they
Yeah.
want anybody else to make that money? But it's like the casino. You're throwing in money, and you're throwing in money, and
And
it's
the marks are at a tremendous disadvantage, right? And
right,
that's
right,
where they're getting the money from,
right, like
Next is a
everything
Ryan
else.
Kep. Next
I'm
is a
at
Ryan.
like people. You're never supposed to tell anybody what you earn or whatever. But I'll just say that this year for stocks, Conan actually has been really good. I was gonna show it, but I'm like, I don't want to show
Good,
it. So, yeah.
He's
good.
all
But
come crashing down, right?
for every Joe, there's a million other. And
But I've been saying that Fubu network went way down. It was like under $1 a share, and I dumped a lot into it. It went up to like 330, 350. It's back down now, but I sold when I should have, So
Okay, next is a
well,
Ryan
that's the
Kep.
other thing. It's like
Yeah.
when you're gambling, if you don't stop when you should, a lot of times you lose more than you know what I'm saying.
And to be fair, I did lose. I lost a lot on Fubu at first, so I had to keep kind of investing, and then it finally paid off.
Next
Right.
is a Ryan Keft. Subbed his mailbag. G'day, fellas. With the news of Jade Cargill possibly going to WWE, in your opinion, will they give her a somewhat similar entry point to Cody in the way of treating her like a superstar to further show AEW talent that they won't get buried if they jump ship? Or do you think she will get the NXT treatment to polish up on the WWE style before being given the star place on the main roster? I personally think they should prep her before debuting her and push her straight away, perhaps in a segment with Charlotte upon first sighting. Somewhat similar to Jericho's debut against The Rock back in the day, and I'd love to get your professional takes. Regards, Ryan. Bro, she's a hot prospect right now because she's still, she was very green, and I think she'd only had like 50 matches. She needs some time in that. I mean, there's no rush. She looks like $1 million. So whenever she's presented on that show for the first time, she's going to be a star in a very prominent position. So, but she just needs some work and just get polished. So.
Yeah, she's already. I've seen a picture of her in an NXT ring or a Performance Center ring already, and I was surprised actually. I thought Di and I thought maybe Conan too would say, give her some training time, but then throw her right on Raw and get her on there. She's a star. Whereas I would say
What's
maybe
the rush?
okay.
They
Yeah,
did
see,
that
I
before.
thought you guys would say
Remember
different.
Remember when they had the divas, and
Mhm.
most of the time, since they couldn't wrestle, they just have them around the ring in battle royals, so you could see
Yeah.
a lot of girls out there. These girls can wrestle now. They
Mhm.
can go. There's no rush. I mean, she's already shown that she can handle the ball in big time. But this is the biggest of all. I agree with Disco.
What would you think about? You both agreed, yeah. Let's polish her up. What do you think about her being like a character on NXT for a little while? If they're that concerned about
Joe,
boosting, like,
Joe,
those
there's nothing to
ratings, too?
discuss here. The girl needs work. Period.
Yeah, I'm saying, but would you
That's
put her on NXT
that,
TV?
I wouldn't do anything with her until she learns how to
Yeah.
work.
Mhm.
That's what I would do. I would put her in this thing. If she's ready to get on TV, test her work in NXT, and then when she's ready, bring
Right.
her up. She needs to get you go through the system there, So
There's
she's
nothing
very
wrong
green.
with going through NXT
Yeah.
because everybody knows that's where Seth went through, Becky went through. It isn't like before where you were like, oh,
Eller.
they're in
Yeah.
Florida Championship Wrestling
Everybody.
or whatever it was. Yeah,
Owens,
this is different
Sammy,
now.
Cesaro, like they all went through there.
Right.
The
Priest.
FTR, the
Andrade,
Priest,
Priest,
Cross,
everybody.
everybody
Riddle.
except for AJ. But because AJ
Samoa
was like,
Joe.
yeah,
Right.
Mhm.
but the only person that did was AJ because AJ was like one of the top 2 or 3 workers on the planet at the time.
Right.
So it's like, right, yeah. So
What are you going to show him there?
yeah,
Right.
right, right.